Oh, hello again, guys. So, now that I've reminisced with my buddy Piper's Pit, I'm here today to talk about a man known as Roderick George Toombs, aka, and as y'all, well, the whole entire world would better know him as the Hot Rod, Rowdy Roddy Piper. Now, he's passed away on July, Jaloon. He passed away July 31st, 2015. I heard about it the same day. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm a juggalo, but I cried like a little bitch. Roddy Piper was there for me growing up when I wanted to see somebody that was not the Hulk Hogan, not Lex Luger, not Ric Flair, not the pretty boy, the good guy, the guy that was in the company that you knew for a fact they were going to get pushed to all the way to the top, and they were going to win any championship they wanted, and they were going to get paid millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. Out pops Roddy Piper. Now, granted, I was really small when I saw him on TV, and as soon as I saw him, I was running around the house going crazy, screaming about how awesome Roddy Piper was. But today we are here to talk about the top 10, or my top 10 quotes that he has ever made. Some of them, or most of them, are from wrestling. Some of them are from, his personal life, and we have one from a certain movie. But here we go. Top 10 Roddy Piper quotes. And number 10, sooner or later, everybody pays the piper. As corny as it might sound, back in the day when that came out, it was awesome. People were just like, "What? That's corny, but we love it! Yeah!" And on to number 9. I don't need to know how tough I am to know how tough I am. Now think about that for a second. It seems like the most contradictory statement, but that's what Roddy Piper was good at. He would sound totally insane, but when he talked to you, you automatically were like, he's so fucking right. Kind of like when you're stoned. And number 8. This one I had never heard until I started looking up or researching on the internet quotes because I wanted to make sure I got them right. This was one of the funniest quotes that I've ever heard. I am the reason Hulk Hogan lost his hair. Can you really claim that you're the one that caused male pattern baldness? Yeah, it's Roddy Piper. He can do whatever the hell he wants. He's the ultimate rebel. He was rebel and pissing off Vince McMahon before Stone Cold had that diaper rash on the back of his neck. Number 7. This comes from the Cyndi Lauper music video for Goonies. Ooh, cookies! Now why don't you take your face back in there and make a suitcase out of it? Ha ha ha. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye, dear. I love that quote because he was such an asshole. And the funny thing was, when I was growing up, I didn't realize Roddy Piper was supposed to be the bad guy. I thought he was the guy that everybody should have been rooting for. I rooted for him. Why wasn't anybody else? Now that I've gotten older, I've looked back, I was like, okay, you were trying to turn him heel, but you can't. It's like trying to turn Daniel Bryan heel. Not gonna happen. Even though he's out of wrestling, he could come back into wrestling and be a complete dick, and I'm still gonna cheer for him. Just how it is. Number 6. This, if any time you heard this on live TV, you knew some shit was gonna go down. Somebody was gonna get hurt, or something funny as hell was gonna happen. The quote was, "Welcome to Piper's Pit." Best talk show ever. Started a whole string of other mediocre things. The closest that's come to a Piper's Pit is the Ambrose Asylum. Cutting edge, the highlight reel. I think Carlito Cool had something about the cabana or something. I wanted to shoot him. I was glad when Piper spit the apple back in his face. Well, anyway, moving on to number 5. I came here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubble gum. In today's culture, that would have been the most retarded, ridiculous thing that you could ever hear in a movie. But in 1988, when They Live came out, that was the most badass statement ever. But it does raise one question. Why didn't somebody hand him a piece of bubble gum? Could have avoided the whole ass kicking. Just hand him a piece of bubble gum. But no. See? They deserved it. They got what they wanted. And one of my almost personal favorites, in fact, it was my personal favorite, or my second favorite, until I started making this list. You do not throw rocks at a man with a machine gun. Sound advice. Totally sound advice. Juggalos, juggalettes, subscribers, never, ever throw a rock at a man with a machine gun. Because you're gonna die. Number 3. Now, before I say this, I would like to say I personally am not a racist. Roddy Piper was not a racist. Purely speculation what the writers of the WWE are. Mr. T, the only man I know who wears more chains than his ancestors. I'm going to hell. But that's okay. I'll see all you guys there too. Because you all know you laughed at it. You know you laughed at it. Don't lie to me. You laughed at me. You racist son of a... I'm just kidding. Well, on to number 2. This was my personal favorite until I found one other quote. In fact, I used to use this all the time back when MySpace was around. Just when you think you know all the answers, I changed the questions. Dun dun dun! It was the most insane thing I'd ever heard. Hearing Roddy Piper say that, I was just like, oh, I'm glad you're not my teacher. Could you imagine that? Just think about it. Sitting down, studied your butt off. You knew you were going to get 100 on that test. You get there, and as soon as you go to write down on your test what the answers are, the teacher snatches it out from under you, hands you a brand new test, and says, just when you think you had all the answers, I change the questions. Haha! Okay, now this next one, I'm gonna have to read it off the paper because it's kinda long, not really, but it's something that can pertain to any walk of life, whether it be soldier, whether you be going through depression, no matter what's going on in your life. Roddy Piper has said something that astounds me. It astounds me that any human being could actually come up with this. So, without further ado, or ado, I don't care. The number 1, or my favorite, Roddy Piper quote of all time. Fighting is not internal, but it can be spiritual. Everything acting is internal. One of my problems in making the transition is pulling back, but I'm working on it. Roddy Piper, if you're out there, up there, over there, wherever you might be, the WWE universe, and I'm sure I can speak for all the Juggalos, we miss you, man. We miss you, Hot Rod. Make sure you don't run out of bubblegum, because you don't need to try and kick God's ass, even though we know you can. Peace out. Much clown love.